Now, I will say this about Ace Jack. It flops so much better when it's suited as opposed to when it's not. With that said, though, we got some really good stuff to go over here. So what I want you guys to do is go grab a bottle of water, some Gatorade, some coffee, because we're going to dig right into this one. Also, I'm going to say this one time, if you guys are not in our community yet, I mean, I don't know why you're not in it. A lot of good stuff in there. You can talk with me, other high-level members. Plus, if you're just trying to, raise your game, man, take it to the next level, then, it's going to be in the pinned comment. Also, if you could tap the like and, let's get right into this. I'm going to start things off here with a King 7. And I will also say I was super bluffy in this one, man. And, the reason for it is, I say this quite a bit, as you start to move up a little bit in stakes, you kind of have to open your game up a little bit. You can't just play like an ABC style, a GTO style. You got to open things up. Pretty good flop for us here, though. We had the spade draw plus, if we hit a king on the turn, it could be good. I just went with the continuation, and the turn was not good. So, whatever. The result was we took it down, and it is what it is. Now, we do have this ace-jack situation early on, though. I think it's going to be right after this jack-deuce. But check this out. This was just like, now you're never playing jack-deuce offsuit, If it's suited, I mean, sure. But this is one of those spots where, like, I just couldn't believe this flop with the jack deuce off, right? Like, what's going on here? But yeah, I think player 4 is going to limp. No reason for us to play this. I think player 6 is going to come along here. He's going to kick it up to the 20 piece. And like I said, you're just not going to believe this this flop here. It was something. And yeah, basically 3 deuces. I mean, how often does this happen? Like, never. But it did. And I was like, for real? And then you got player 4 continuing here, and then player 6 continuing. Like, I mean, yeah, you're definitely going to float this flop if you got, like, ace-king or really any ace-x type of hand. Player 4 continued here. No idea what either of these guys has because I had the deuce. Pocket pairs possible, but player 4 is going to go for it here. Player 6 is going to call him down, and they both had ace-9, which was kind of weird, but whatever. Okay, so here we go. Early on, like I said, man, ace-jack suited, and believe it was diamonds. Okay, yeah, and I'm going to open here. And here's the thing about ace-jack. Like I said, the way to play this hand is aggressive, especially when it's suited. When it's not suited, obviously it's a little bit trickier to navigate because, if you get re-raised, especially if you open from early position, you're to be up against a lot of sometimes better aces, ace king, ace queen, and then you got some of those mid pocket pairs. But here's the thing, when it's suited, you really should have no fear with it. Same with like ace 10 suited, when it's suited, really no fear, okay? But this is going to be a weird spot for us. I'll say that. I don't want to give anything away. But I think player 4 is going to make the call here. I'm pretty sure it was player 4. And yeah, slowed it down so I can kind of just go over my thought process on it. All right, player 3 is out, and yeah, player 4 is going to make the call. Now, the flop wasn't terrible by any means. It was actually, in my opinion, kind of decent because we are going to have, the 10 of the straight. We've also got runner cards for diamonds as long as the board doesn't pair, you know what I'm saying? We could also hit an ace on the turn. A lot of good stuff. We're also blocking a lot of those jack 10 type hands because we have a jack, and you should be thinking about that as well when you're doing this. Like, what am I blocking? A part of me wanted to kick this up. Instead, I just flatted here, and I was thinking about making my move on the turn, especially if we miss. You know what I mean? So I just called here. Turn card is going to be a brick, but not the worst brick because it does give us a royal flush draw. So I mean, who's going to complain about that, even though we don't like to see the board pair? Now, this guy doesn't necessarily have to have a king. I'd also kind of say, excuse me, because he led out, on the flop, and we're the ones who open raise. I don't think he has a king. Okay, so that's kind of where I was going with it. Now I just made the call. River card was a brick, and now we're sitting here with nothing. The nice thing about the river card, though, is we are blocking Jack 10. We have, a Jack, so we don't have to worry about that. I think the question becomes here, does this guy have a king? And, my gut, and sometimes you just have to go with your gut in these spots, I don't think he's got the king, okay? That's just me personally. You could have a hand like, Queen 10 suited, Queen Jack, something like that. And when he checked the river here, especially after leading out on the flop and turn, it just told me that he was a little bit weak. And I like this play because, like I said, if we don't think he's got the king, it's going to be a really hard, this is a tough call for him to make. We're blocking Jack 10 because we have a Jack, so it's going to be a lot less likely that he has that. So I went for the play that I thought would get him off. And, it's that simple. And yeah, we got him off, and we took that down. So definitely an interesting spot, but we're kind of just warming up here in this. So like I said, continue sticking around because we got some more stuff to go over. But yeah, man, it's kind of my thought process. You should be thinking about the things that you're blocking, based on different, flops and whatever cards you got. You know what I'm saying? You should add that into your game for sure. It's not that complicated. I think some people don't think about it that deep, but you should definitely be thinking about it. Look at this. Two pair with the 5-8 offsuit. Like, what's going on here? Seriously? 5-8 offsuit, getting it done here. Could not believe this. Kind of similar to pocket deuces. Like, this stuff is just weird. Like, I was like, is this really happening? And yeah, it's really happening. Kind of couldn't believe it though. All right, so I'd imagine one of these guys probably has like a pair of jacks. Ooh, look at this. Player 2 went for it here. All I could think was, what did he have, And kind of sad. Whatever though. It's all good. All right, Jack 6. And seriously, I was definitely not playing. I was not. I mean, I was bluffing a lot in this one, and I think that's another thing too. Like, you need to adapt to the opponents at your table when you're playing. I mean, that's really what this also comes down to. All right, we'd have paired a 6 here. Nothing really to go with it. Got to feel like somebody's got a king here if they continue, and he did. All right, player took it down. 5 on the river, and we move on. Ace 9 offsuit here. We are on the button, so I think I'd maybe open raise this one. Let me see. Not 100%, but we'll see in a second. Yeah, I did. Pretty standard button raise here. Okay, and player 1 folded it. All right, next spot. Here we are. Pocket 10s. I got bluffy on this one too. Now, because player 4 opened kind of early and we still have 3 players to act behind us, I just flatted this. Reason being, there was 3 players behind. If we were a little bit later in this, I would have probably just kicked it up, but I didn't. And I think player 2, player 1's going to make the call, and player 2. So now I'm really hoping that we get a 10 here on this flop. But I will say this was a tricky spot because, not a bad flop. Sure, are we worried about some like sets? Sure. Is 5-6 possible? Sure. There's also just flush draws out there. We're going to be blocking 10-9, which is good, because we got pocket 10s. So we kind of rule that one out. But player 2 is going to lead out here. 37 piece, which to me it just felt like maybe he's doing this like sort of like on a draw type of thing, not putting this guy on a set. So instead of just calling this, I felt like okay, we just make our move right here because if he let's say he does make this call, it's probably going to be on some type of draw, I would think, more than a set. Worst case scenario, he's got a set. We hit runner cards for either straights, or we hit a 10 on the turn of river two, which is all plausible. We also don't have any spades, which means that it's possible he could have spades too here. Anyways, yeah, I just came over the top. Really not putting this guy in a set, so I'm kind of ruled that one out. Maybe, yeah, I mean, I like the play. It got it done. I didn't want to just call and kind of see like a bad turn card like a jack or a queen or something, if that makes sense. But yeah, some interesting stuff, right? Like just super bluffy to start things off here. And we are kind of on our way. All right, so folded the queen seven offsuit. Definitely not playing that. All right, queen eight. Now I opened this to the 1250 piece. You can kind of notice a lot of these guys are playing pretty tight for the most part. Player one's going to kick this up to the 40 piece. Of course, I'm going to make this call. I mean, we're so deep and, anything's possible. Also, I kind of just like staying unpredictable, right? Anyways, flop is no bueno. Can't really continue here. I just let it go. Cut my losses. All right, next hand, 7-8 off in the big here. And, I decided to call. Flop, nothing there. Now the kind of question is, do I want to continue to try to bluff? You know what I mean? I was thinking about it, but turn card, queen, now we're kind of like, if this guy continues here, might be a little bit harder to get anything through at this point. So I just let it go. Shouldn't have played that one to begin with. We would have hit a pair of sevens, but probably wouldn't have been good, so whatever. All right, here we go, man. Another spot. King 5 suited. Here we go. Now, this is a spot where I'm definitely going to make a call. Sometimes I might actually raise this one up even more against the button, but I just called. And we're going to take a flop. Now, player 6 is going to kick it up to the 65 piece, and I called. The reason I called was because I know that this guy could be repping some ace, king, ace, queen type of hands. Could also have just some mid-pocket pairs too. All of it's possible, but, I mean, I continued here. We did have some possibilities when I made that call for, like, runner cards for flushes. I don't know if I wanted to see a king on the turn. I don't know if that would have been good. Heart, obviously, but we had nothing here. This guy, though, checked it. Pot was pretty big. I took a little bit of time here before making this play. Basically, I'm repping a 6 or a flush. Those are the two, and whatever, it worked. So, garbage hand, well, semi-garbage hand, took it down right there just on a bluff. Now, that's like our third biggest bluff in this. So, we haven't had a whole lot of anything. It's just been me outplaying opponents and bluffing. So, what else can I say? Because that's exactly what's going on here. Anyways. A little uncomfortable though on that King 5. I'll be honest, a little uncomfortable. We still got some more stuff to go over, so hope you guys are enjoying some of this so far. And I'll say it one more time, man. Get in our community. Pin comment. Okay, Ace King. Pretty easy raise here. Gonna kick it up to the low 40 piece. Little 40 piece. Player 6 is going to raise us up. So I think we only had one thing to do here. I mean, he could have aces, he could have kings, sure, But we have ace king, so it's less likely because we're blocking those hands. It's still possible, but once again, you should think about what you're blocking. Came over the top here. He could have queens, jacks, something like that. But anyways, he folded it, and we took it down. So I was kind of surprised by that. I really thought he was going to maybe just call us down, you know? He'd also been playing pretty tight. So, but I mean, it's ace king, you know? Better when it's suited, but it wasn't. And just how it went. But yeah. So yeah, we've kind of just made our way up in this one, bluffing. I mean, I've had really not a whole lot of anything. So yeah, hope you guys are enjoying some of this stuff too. All right, all clubs on that one. All right, king three. Gonna kick it up here, 1250 piece. I mean, why not? Confidence is running high too. I mean, we've really outplayed, you know, everybody at this point. So feeling pretty good. I think it's gonna be our final one to go over here. King Jack suited clubs. Yeah, I like this hand a lot. You know, I feel like it does flop pretty well for me most of the time. Now, if we get raised here, obviously we're not going anywhere. We're still gonna make a call to see a flop with this. If it was offsuit, then yeah, I mean you're gonna get rid of it every time. But when it's suited, you know, you're gonna see a flop. Okay, and I think player one's the one who's gonna kick it up here to. We'll see what he kicked it up to. Doesn't really matter. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere. All right, so he kicked it up to the 40 piece, and we are going to call this dude and hopefully see some clubs, right? That would be nice. It definitely would be nice. All right, player two, I think, is going to get out of the way here. Yeah, back over to player three. What's it going to be? All right, here we go. All right, so we hit top pair. We've also got runner cards for trips, you know, straights. Can't really get away from this. He kept it small, though, which was nice, so I'm just going to call here. Turn card is a brick, six of hearts, not going to change a whole lot. But, you know, not really sure where I'm at, so if this guy wants to continue, he can. I'm hoping, you know, our king jack's good here. And he checked it. You know, and I just was like, you know what, I'm going to check it. I've seen some sneaky plays from players before, so I checked it. We ended up taking it down. I just didn't want to like lose to ace king or, you know, something weird in that spot. So, you know, that's kind of what I was thinking anyways. All right, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. You know, thanks for watching and subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you in the next one.